were talking about the impact of getting the win this Saturday.
Mhm.
For Indiana, I think it would be huge because it would be like validation. Because, everyone gives that whole like, well, last year they beat everyone they should have. It's like, Cignetti didn't make the schedule. Indiana's schedule this years in advance. Maybe they had to replace a team here or there because of realignment, like every team is having to do.
Mhm.
They killed everyone they were supposed to, just as they were supposed to. As for Oregon, going into this, same thing. It would just continue the validation to go, okay, you're really good. Cool. But for Indiana, I think it would be more validating if they were to be able to get a win on the road in Autzen Stadium. I think for Indiana fans, I think it would be validating.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that even though, social media, IU fans are pumped up and, all that kind of stuff, most people legitimately aren't like necessarily expecting a win. They're just excited to be here. Because again, it's unreal. This is remarkable. I never would have thought, being a Alabama fan who likes Indiana football, because I don't know, it's just my weird quirk, that Indiana would have ever been good. I was like, hey, I like rooting for a bad football team that always sucks. And now this team just completely turned it around, and they're ranked above Alabama. It's just, for now, it is unreal. I mean, like you said last year, that statement bothers me so much, where people say they beat everyone they were supposed to. No, they did not beat everyone they were supposed to. They literally were projected to win 4 games. I think Vegas had them at 4.5 last year. I picked IU to go 7-5, and people said I was off my rocker. They thought I was crazy for saying Indiana was going to go 7-5 last year, and they went 11-2. So no, they did not beat everyone that they were supposed to. That is a fallacy. That is ridiculous. The reason that IU beat everybody they were supposed to was because once they started winning a lot, the odds started to favor them slightly against Nebraska and against Washington and against Michigan. But it's not like they were supposed to win those games in the preseason. All those games were supposed to be L's. I predicted all those games to be L's. I mean, they were not supposed to do what they did. It was unreal. And yeah, I know that those teams did kind of turn out to not be all that good. Michigan was great defensively, but no quarterback. But like, that was what Cignetti did was unreal, and he deserved Coach of the Year. Only Dillingham had a case, but he even had year one. Cignetti had no year one. He just came and just completely flipped the script. It was unreal. And then this year, I was telling everybody, hey, I think that with the schedule, they're going to take a bit of a step back with the record. I think the team will be probably just as good, but they're probably going to lose 3 or 4 games this year because of the fact the schedule's harder. And now we're at this point where IU is undefeated with a win over a top 25 Illinois team by 53 points that people just still want to throw out and say it doesn't matter, which is hilarious, because if Ohio State beats Illinois by 53, then that is just, oh my gosh, they're the best team in college football and it's unreal and the talent and Jeremiah Smith's amazing. Or if Alabama does it, Alabama's goated and Nick Saban is gone, but DeBoer's elite, Georgia, whatever. IU does it, and it's like, well, Illinois just sucks. And then Illinois turns around and beats USC. That's not a bad win. Illinois is not a bad team. And we'll see what they do against Ohio State. But that was an elite win. And then they follow it up with who I predicted them to lose to, Iowa. I did not think they would go to Kinnick and win. I know Iowa is not good, but Iowa's a type team that IU in the past would not have been able to win against. They would not have been able to hold up on the lines of scrimmage. They would not have been able to handle the crowd. They would have folded, and they almost folded, but they didn't fold. The O-line held up. Mendoza held up. They played good enough. Iowa slowed the game down. People got to realize that. The score looks bad because Iowa held the ball for like 70% of the game. They did what they do. They held the ball. They kept it away from IU's dynamic offense, and still Indiana won. That is a good win. Like, even Ohio State's in the past has had struggles in Kinnick. That's a good win. This is a beast, obviously, against Oregon. Indiana has 2 wins this year that, to me, are better than what they did last year. So even if IU doesn't beat Oregon, I think that they've already shown that they're, frankly, better than last year. I think that the results are backing it up more than last year. But obviously, nationally, people are still not going to want to say it. But if they do beat Oregon, then they have to validate it. There's nothing people can say at that point.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I agree. Look, we said Iowa on our schedule this year at Iowa would be I don't want to say a trap game, but it would be a difficult game because different environment. Kinnick Stadium's not easy. And Iowa generally, of course, defensively is pretty solid. Now, they're not that great defensively this year, but they still have that game plan. Like you said, hold the ball. Just don't let the other team touch it. That's the game plan, you know. I mean, and it's a good game plan. It is. It's smart. So we even said that was going to be a tricky game. I don't hold that against Iowa or Indiana because you came off the high of beating the hell out of Illinois, went on the road, you got through it, and you're like, thank God a bye week, you know, then to Oregon, you know. So it was like you got through the game. That's all that matters at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be pretty. Every team has an ugly game once a year at least. One ugly game.
And that's another thing that frustrates me too is the fact that, you know, as I said, if Georgia or Bama or any team like that, Ohio State blows out Illinois, how impressive of a win that is, best team in college football. Indiana does it, it doesn't matter. The other thing is that result against Iowa. Indiana barely wins, and then what are people saying? Well, they barely beat Iowa. They're still no good. Whereas if Alabama or Ohio State or whoever Ohio State beat Nebraska last year 21-17, and Indiana beat them 56-7. But who won when they played each other? Ohio State. Ohio State had a bad game against Nebraska, a really bad game. They had a horrible game. They literally were down with a minute left in the game, but nobody said a word because they won. It's because of I don't like term brand bias, but it is. It really is. When you are a team that normally wins, no matter what you do, as long as you win, people are going to explain it away. Georgia has looked bad for 2 seasons now in a lot of games, and people are still explaining that away. Oh, well, you know, they just were a little off today. Well, they've been off in like 7 games in the last 2 years, but they keep barely winning. They keep barely beating teams, but it's Georgia. IU doesn't get that type of treatment because, they barely beat Iowa. It's just back to the dumpster bin. Honestly, I thought the Iowa win was more impressive than the Illinois win. I'm sorry. It was because the way the game was, they were supposed to lose. They literally should have lost, and they still somehow won. That's what a good team does, is find ways to win when you play like crap, to me.
Hey, you talk about brand bias when that does exist. And to get rid of that label takes quite a long time. Oregon still gets it. Remember, 13-0, number 1 for like over half the season last year. Lose to Ohio State the way we did in the Rose Bowl, and everyone's like, garbage. They're trash. Whatever. What a joke. That's every time Oregon loses a game. Everyone just like, what a joke. What a laughable team. They still haven't gotten over it in 20 years or 25 years, really, I guess, since like 2000, 2001. Haven't gotten through it yet because what do they not have? Hey, USC fans, I know you're somewhere watching. Yeah, O means for 0 titles. Yeah, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
Get something
I get
new.
that on Twitter all the fucking time.
Get something new. Same with Indiana. Come on. Duck Hunt. Come on. Be original.